Education is essentially an initiation of the younger generations into the cultural traditions of the society. We in India are heirs to a long and rich cultural tradition. It would be inaccessible for any educated Indian not to be conversant with our artistic and cultural traditions. Culture is, however, not static. Culture is a dynamic phenomenon and develops with positive responses to new challenges. Our culture is in a process of modernization. The past traditions are being crossed with the scientific and technological culture of the West, and an integrated modern Indian culture is in progressive evolution. It is in such a process that we are privileged to be participants. Our constitution has placed before us the vision of a new social, economic, and political order. The best in the past is being retained and further developed, while where change is required, change is sought to be brought about. The new order is that of an egalitarian society where all people are assured of equality of status as well as of opportunities. There are sections of our population who have been relegated to positions of subservience and made to suffer from social, religious, and economic disabilities. The agrarian power structure has to be radically altered, and many programs like land reforms are steps in the direction. Our universities have to bring about in their students a keen awareness of the existing structure of our society and reforms that are called for. As a noted intellectual has put it, most people are alive in an earlier time, but you must be alive in our own time. It is no use if education does not lead to a strong sense of contemporary reality. The universities have to train students to be potent agents of social change that we are endeavoring to engineer. It is only with such education relevant to our time and relevant also in the context of present conditions in our country that we can succeed in achieving the ideals of social and economic equality and justice that are enshrined in our constitution. Our university students finding large sections of earlier generations of graduates remaining unemployed begin to feel skeptical about their own future. The system of education, which is heavily weighted in favor of bookish knowledge and which is not quite pragmatic, relevant, or functional to the extent desirable, is also a factor that adds to their disquiet. It is also possible that a few young people enter universities who are not fit for and attuned to the spirit of higher education. All in all, we see unquiet campuses in several universities. Another element that sometimes enters on the scene is incursion of politics, which aggravates an already difficult situation. It is the responsibility of the universities to inspire their pupils with a sense of direction and purpose. The students should be helped to realize that just because they are part of the educated elite, they should not stand aloof from the common people, but that they should feel at one with them and feel a joyous sense of participation in the thrilling adventure in which we are all engaged in building up of our country as a great and prosperous nation. The time spent in the universities is a time that is devoted to studies as a preparation for entering the world at large. At this stage, it would be desirable to study ideologies of various political parties as well as national objectives and priorities, but active indulgence in politics is inadvisable and would have to avoid completion of the educational process. With these improvements, we would create a climate that would be conducive to concentration on studies and on research, the pursuit of which is the main purpose for which the universities exist. Necessarily, in view of the inexhaustible nature of knowledge, students have to pursue studies in either arts or science, but institutions of the highest levels of education have to give students a coordinated understanding of both the cultures of science and technology on the one hand and arts and humanities on the other. While those who study humanities should develop also the spirit of scientific inquiry, those who pursue scientific knowledge should also cultivate a taste for arts and humanities. Maturity of mind results from such a balanced and comprehensive view of the life. Wisdom is more than knowledge, and knowledge more than information. I would like you regard your present success as but a significant milestone in the process of lifelong continuing education. We live in an age which has been witnessing a virtual explosion of knowledge. The frontiers of knowledge are rapidly being extended, and the rate of obsolescence of knowledge is quite high. It has been rightly remarked that a degree would need to be revalidated like a passport every 5 or 10 years. It would be infectious if you allow the knowledge you have picked up to fade away, and if you do not pursue your intellectual quest further. It is desirable that you keep abreast of the fresh advances that are always being made in the field of your studies. The university has helped not only to inform your mind with the accumulated knowledge of the ages in the fields that you have chosen, but what is more important, it has refined your mental faculties and developed the ability to think freely and to acquire knowledge for yourselves. You should be able to exercise in regard to all problems that you face and in regard to all the issues that you will come across your critical faculties and accept propositions only after an unbiased and objective scrutiny. As an educational psychologist has observed, the principal goal of education is to create men who are capable of doing new things, not simply of repeating what other generations have done, men who are creative, inventive, and discoverers. The second goal of education is to form minds which could be critical, can verify, and not accept everything they are offered. Such freedom of thought and expression is a cherished attitude of our democratic way of life. I wish you all success in the service of the country in various fields in which you will be engaging yourselves when you enter the world at large, as well as happiness in your personal lives.